Okay, thank you. Got it?
Got it.
Okay, I'm very happy to have Darren Embry. Darren, are you on?
I'm on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got Vice President, Community Development Fairing Company will be our guest speaker today. He will give us and discuss the marketing efforts of his project, the on the liveliest in South Bay. And that development is the Union South Bay Project, 1601 South Avalon Boulevard. He will discuss his marketing efforts for the project and efforts of the Pegasus Group to asset management team to lease 28,785 square feet of retail space at the corner of that facility. This is a one of a kind development. We're happy to showcase it, and it has 357 apartment units above, with the, like I said, the 28,785 units of retail below. Now, the Carson Chamber of Commerce would like to enhance the commercial development of the Avalon or Carson Street area nexus of development. East and west, north and south. That's the middle of what we're trying to do and development. I feel that we want to showcase Carson by showcasing this development. We have a number of illustrious members of our community here, and we're happy to have you to listen in on this meeting. Our vision for the city is showcase Carson. That's all we want to do. Our methodology is acquiring knowledge and facts, information, aspiration, design for advancement for this community, inspiration, bringing leadership and inspiring leadership for the growth of this community by supporting catalytic or sparking developments which will enhance sustainable growth economically for our city. I think this project will do it. I just would like to hear about Darren's group's plans for and give us an update on South Bay's liveliest corner. It is the liveliest corner. It's the city civic center, shopping center, a number of apartment buildings being planned and things being done. Barry Wake would also give us, the CEO of the Carson Chamber, will give us an economic development update for our Carson community after this preparation. Okay, Darren, are you ready to kind of present your project and to tell us about
Yes.
plan?
Yes. I mean, thank you, Michael. Thank you, Barry. Thank you, chamber members, for welcoming me today. I'm thinking of this talk more in that way, as a talk more than a presentation. I'm going to give you guys updates on our current status on the South Bay and our other major projects in the city. I don't have a lot of visuals, so I'm thinking that I will run down kind of our status, give you a leasing update in New South Bay, then talk about what's coming, and open the floor kind of to ideas about what, we're open to filling the vacant spaces at that development, of course, as soon as possible. So any ideas would be welcome. And then we can just kind of pivot to a couple of other projects that we have in town to discuss, and then open the floor. So let me well, go ahead. Were you going to say something, Michael?
That's great. That emphasis is what you're doing now, what your plans are in the future, and how we can help you to get there.
No, that's great. Thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and share my, hold on, give me 10 seconds here.
Let me allow you to share here.
Thank you.
Sharing is a good thing. You may share away.
We're just sinking in. That's all.
Hold on. Closing my other windows here. All right. Okay.
There it is, Darren.
All
Leasing
right.
report.
Perfect. So as Michael mentioned, this, to tell you about Union South Bay, we entitled it, Fairing's our company name, and we entitled it back in 2015. We were able to, through working closely with city staff, realize that some of the zoning of Carson Street Master Streetscape Plan, it wasn't really getting the hits or the activity, the interest from developers that the city had originally intended. I don't know if you all recall, most of you probably do, that there was a tired, strip center on this corner, a gas station,
Yes.
2 large vacant lots behind it, with a dental office, I think, on one of the outlying parcels. So we looked at this. We and our investors owned that strip center, and it was just this corner across from City Hall, as Michael has described, especially following on the heels of the Renaissance at City Center across the street, done by the Saffron Group. We realized that this just, was calling out for something special and new to Carson. And so my CEO, Jason Alulian, and I came into City Hall and started looking at the existing planning designations, the zoning code, and looked at the Carson Street Master Plan and said, with all due respect, this just isn't getting the hits because you don't really have any significant enough density to spur folks to invest, I think, the way that the city intends. And so we help the city staff to craft a urban residential designation that was 5 to 6 stories, about 50 to 60 to the acre. And we were able to work with the city to acquire the 2 vacant lots behind it from the successor agency to the redevelopment agency.
Okay.
So we were able to basically aggregate our strip center with the 2 vacant lots behind it, and get and bring a specific plan to the site, kind of the tip of the spear, if you will, in this new designation. And the city embraced it. We then, in May, I think it was, of 2015, had a very eventful council meeting that lives on, with the city clerk turning the lights on and off and calling the meeting over, and it was crazy. And we were the next ones up. I'll tell you all that story over drinks at maybe the Holiday Mixer. But we were unanimously approved that night, and then commenced to refining the plan. And a big part, besides just bringing a higher density, high quality designed residential project to this key corner in Carson, it was very important to us to create a public space to play off of and be in conversation with the City Hall Plaza across the street. So this is about 10,000, give or take, square feet of public plaza that we've just, we still obviously hold the rights to it, but it is open to the public, obviously. And we've been able to start giving it some extra life with our Union Nights events, which I'll come back to in a little bit. But anyway, the public plaza was a big piece of this. Having it be a wellness lifestyle oriented project. Let's see, what do we have here? Yeah, this presentation is more about the leasing, so I don't have good imagery for all the courtyards and stuff, but you guys are encouraged to please visit anytime. The leasing office is over here off Carson Street. They love giving tours, and would love to share. There's a rooftop deck here for activities and events. There's a gorgeous clubhouse We just hosted Economic Development Commission a couple months ago there. So just encourage all of you to visit the apartment part of the project and take a look around and enjoy what it has to offer. Our challenge, oh, well, let me see. The challenge has been the commercial spaces. Of course, we opened our doors during COVID. That's when the project was completed. And it's been a challenge, we admit that. And I think that, city folk, city elders have been, excited about what we can bring here. And it's going to be a lovely day when we finally get this restaurant space leased on the corner here. We've been having some challenges, and I'll be candid, this is a good audience actually for this part of the conversation. Carson isn't on everyone's radar. There's not a, we've been trying to get a Trader Joe's. We have very good contacts at Trader Joe's on through our brokerage team and our internal team, and they're just not quite there yet for embracing Carson as a location for their stores. When we've had that conversation, and we've had similar conversations with other national credit tenants, and it's been a lift, it's been a challenge. When you look at Carson on the map, you see about half the city, it kind of looks, or maybe the bottom, the eastern third, we'll say, a lot of oil refineries. They want to come to a place where there are a lot of wallets and a lot of, disposable income, obviously. And it doesn't hit you that the way that it actually is on the ground doesn't hit you when you look at it on a map. But that is changing. I think, we're doing our part, I think, by remediating the Cam Carson landfill, by developing this project, by developing the forthcoming Carson Place up at the former Imperial Avalon Mobile Home Park. So we are bullish on Carson, and we're hoping that the rest of the development and commercial world catches up soon, and it's looking good. And I say that to share with you our first two tenants that will be coming into the property. Torrance Memorial Care is taking this space here along Avalon, again right across from City Hall. Unit B, this is where that restaurant space. This is obviously the plaza here. And then Phoenix Salon Suites is taking about 9,000 feet here. And then we are obviously very interested in leasing up Unit D, which because of its location will be a little more challenging. We do have some interest in Unit B and Unit A, and I'm just going to go ahead and share this with you guys. This is a look under the hood. This is our monthly progress or status report from Pegasus, our leasing brokers, and I'll just go over these one at a time. Tapville, we are very interested in potentially bringing them into Unit B, which is the restaurant space here, about 5,000 square feet. They are opening a location at another, and we'll get to the workforce housing Joint Powers Authority part of the project, and I'll come back to that. But they're opening at our sister property over in Hawthorne, opening this month, God willing. It's taken them a while to get the TIs done, but after they're open there, we're going to begin more earnest conversations, looking about how best to bring them over to Unit B. But it's not inked yet, right? So with that in mind, and I can't share the names with you, but these are names that most of which you'll know. A Japanese noodles tempura restaurant is interested in, he's going to be touring the site soon, would be interested in B. Retail, looking at the unit next to Phoenix, is a household fixtures retailer. Kind of I think something different for Carson. A very well-known, and I wish I could tell you who, but I can't, well-known national bar and grill chain with a full bar. That's kind of, I think we not exactly nightlife. I think that's a little more entertainment focused than what we're thinking about for this location. But definitely a restaurant, full bar, and to generate more activity at that corner. I think, folks getting off work, our city hall friends and employees working there, coming across the street, having a drink, having a meal after work. that's what's going to really, we think, turn the corner. We also have then an internationally known housewares fashion style retailer looking at the space up on Avalon. And so again, this activating this restaurant, there's a patio here that's enclosed, right? Or that's, little low fencing here. But we put some music out there. We put some tasteful little jazz combo or Brazilian guitarist vocalist. I mean, I got it planned out here, and really some lovely opportunities here to really spark interest and create more of a vibe. Where this plaza, I mean, it's well laid out. I think it's just really about getting the people there. And I don't know, and I'll just pause a second and talk about Union Nights. We had a very successful event here back in April. It was extremely well attended. We had vendors, we had artists, we had music. The Galaxy, Cal State Dominguez Hills were here, Teddy Toro, and vendors were selling out of their wares and their food offerings, and we had a couple food trucks. It was a big smash. Then we had another one a couple of months later, and the city's role was a little unclear, so we didn't get the advertising out. It wasn't quite as successful, but again, we had vendors selling out of their wares, and it was just obvious to me that this location is a prime location. People want to be here. People want to come and visit and spend a little money. So we really are excited about continuing Union Nights in the new year. And we think that there's probably a bigger role for the chamber to play. But we should talk about that. Our friend Tanae Spears is the person who basically recruits the vendors. She's actually a council staff aide in the city of Compton. She actually lives at Union South Bay. Lovely person, and has been super helpful with us managing those events. And so we'll want to figure out, Barry, Mike, and team, how we can leverage chamber involvement. We don't want to overflow, have too many vendors. I think that's the interesting question, is what's the right number, what's the right amount. And we'll come back to that though in the new year and figure out a way for the chamber to maybe be more of a partner in that effort.
Before you move on, I just want to know letter of intent. Which companies have signed the letter of intent? But you don't have to mention the other ones that you are negotiating.
We have signed leases, Mike, for Memorial Care and Phoenix Salon Suites.
Okay, tell us about Phoenix Salon Suites. Who are they?
They are a national chain. They're all over the place. I see them in Glendale, in Pasadena, in the city of West Hollywood. They're I mean, individual operators lease spaces from them in the building, but there's a standard. There is a since it is there's an overarching site management person or people, there is a consistency with presentation, with maintenance, with care. So it's not just like not to deride anyone who's what we want to do is something that's a little broader than just a nail salon, right? We want to do hair, we want to have nails, we want to have everything that a salon suite location would typically offer. And we think this is a great location for it. They're excited about coming. That's what I can tell you. And then Memorial Care, I think you guys all know, they're located very close, right down the street, actually, in a different kind of facility. We're doing some TIs for them here. We're putting some extra doors in. They're going to have a small monument sign right along Avalon Boulevard. We're excited about bringing them in as well.
Great.
Yep. So no other LOIs right now, but this is the latest and greatest as far as who we're talking to and who we're working with. And I'll just let everyone on this call know that we continue to take calls and be very interested in identifying, if not a national credit chain, and for those of you in the business, I mean, it just means someone who has, you know, strong credit and track record in other locations. We would entertain a local operator as long as, again, you know, we're not their first shot at it. They have a track record and, you know, credit to sustain a you know, a lengthy lease, right?
Yeah, and that point, what is your radius of the local market? 3 miles or 5 miles? Because Carson, you're at the heart of Carson. It's just finished its Carson corridor development, and now we're trying to develop on Avalon Boulevard. And we encourage you to try to find someone with name identification within the 3 to 5 mile radius that could come in with a good track record, with good funding and good credit rating.
Yes.
And secondly, give a group. Have you e-blasted out your selling points?
No, that's not really how Pegasus operates. I mean, it is, but that's not the e-blast isn't really the focus. They have a large Rolodex of groups. They're doing really the direct outreach. This is just, I'm just showing this to you. This is total listing performance. This is the views. These are their efforts here. What else can I tell you about this? Kind of self-explanatory, I think. Any questions?
Any questions from any of the committee members and people on this meeting?
Yes, I have a question.
Sure.
Is Pegasus similar to what they have at the mall over on the back side where Sears used to be? I guess their tool department or something, gardening. It's some kind of salons.
Yeah, I visited that. Yes.
Yeah, is that type of a thing where each operator kind of owns their own space?
Not Pegasus. You threw me there. Phoenix.
I'm sorry. Phoenix.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that what that is?
Without having visited that place myself, what do you I think so.
Okay.
But I'll have to. What's the name of that location? Do we know?
I can't remember, but
That's
it's
actually
something.
it's Sola Salons on the
Sola
backside.
Salon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And
It's
that's
a
where
similar concept.
the
Similar
individual
concept. Thank you.
owners have their own individual spot or something that they're renting out and they take care of that. Okay, great. Thank you.
Oh, sure. Thank you. So this is just another, new visitors versus returning, in market, out of market, traffic source. This just shows some of the other vehicles that Pegasus utilizes to try to spread the word. We're currently, let's pivot to the apartments just for a minute, and then we can move on to other projects and take questions. 92.5% leased. For those of you who do not know, this is a moderate income workforce housing program that was brought to the Union South Bay about a year and a half ago. Almost 2 years, actually. And what it does is allows for a broader range of income levels to qualify for some discounted rents. And by broader range, I mean not low income, but moderate income. And what that means is 80% of the average area median income, 100%, 120%. And when you get up to 100 and 120%, you're talking about teachers, firefighters, law enforcement, folks, obviously making a nice living. But those are also the types of folks that often have to drive long distances to get to their workplace. One of the challenges, and Barry educated me on this now many, many years ago. One of the challenges that Carson experiences is how many of their residents don't actually work in Carson.
Wait a minute. Somebody listened to what I said and remembered it? Oh,
amazing.
it's a Christmas.
Yeah, we used, I remember we used a couple of your graphs in our presentation back in May of 15. Because we look, we're bringing beds for these Carson residents to sleep and work, closer to their jobs. And that's the idea behind these workforce housing programs, is create, for that missing middle, because they're not quite able to afford in many cases. Obviously, everyone's different, but many cases they're not quite able to afford market rate luxury apartments.
That's
And
right.
they're not, and they make too much to get the benefits of an affordable housing, lower rent program. This meets that need of that missing middle of folks, again, who are gainfully employed, working, nearby, but can't afford to live in a nice project. And this is a very nice project. You'll see. Again, I encourage you to take a visit. So 80% AMI, folks, 100 and 120%. And the interesting thing that makes this a truly mixed income property is if a unit is on the market for more than 15 days, it can be leased to anyone in that, anywhere from 80% to market rate. So there are actually some market rate folks still living here. And again, 80% up to market rate. So it's a truly diverse community, well appointed. Again, encourage you to take a visit. And I think it will be transformed, improved even more, obviously, when we have activity in these commercial spaces.
Are you at liberty to give price points on the 80, 100, 120%, or whatever?
Call Maria Acosta. To be honest with you, they changed a lot because of the program, the way the program works.
Yes.
And it's different every month. And I'm not being cagey. I'm just telling you.
No, I'm saying.
I can definitely get those numbers, but it's probably best if you just reach out to the leasing staff there, and they'll give you the latest and greatest. And they can break it down for you by income level. You come in, you apply, you qualify, and they'll get you in there. And we have some friends, and city staff lives there now. Again, it's a diverse community, wide range of incomes, and a lot of amenities.
Are there any other questions from our group? This is very important for you to get an idea where we are and where we're trying to go with this. And there are some spaces that are open. I know in the past that we were trying to get Sprouts in here, but that did not work out. But some type of store, Mr. Aldridge, some type of store. We keep hearing about what type of store we can bring into our community. Have you guys and Pegasus still trying to attempt a store, or a small store of some type? Darren?
I don't know. Is that to me or is that to Darren?
That's for you, and then I want Darren to fill in on that.
Okay. Well, it seems like every time the city wants to approve something, they trot out Trader Joe's. Oh, it's the Trader Joe or Costco. They use those two as their kind of smoke and mirror kind of thing. And I was told that yes, it was going to be a Trader Joe's, but as Darren said, they've tried Trader Joe's. They have a good relationship with Trader Joe's, and Trader Joe's is just not ready to to pull that trigger yet. And being on the
Ray, if I can add to that, Trader Joe's isn't looking to expand anywhere around here right now, and by around here I mean this whole region of LA. So this is not a Carson thing. It's much bigger than that.
Well, now it is, but you go further west and you see you could almost throw a rock from one Trader Joe's to another Trader Joe's, where here, now I understand that they're not, and the same thing with what was it, Stater Brothers. They had being on Economic Development Commission, I was privy to some information. I think Barry might have even shared this information, that certain companies have certain geographical areas that
yes,
it's kind of like, I don't know if it's imaginary, but they were saying that okay, Stater Brothers would not come cross the 710 freeway.
That's correct.
And they actually put one fairly near the 710 freeway, and then it's gone now. So, so they, companies, I guess they have their sights on where they want to spend their millions of dollars to open up a new store. And right now, as Darren kind of alluded to, Carson is not on a lot of companies' radar. So we have to kind of, with his help and the help of Faring, we're getting on that radar. More and more companies are starting to see Carson as maybe we will try Carson. And as we know at the mall, pretty much every restaurant or eating place that has opened up in the last few years has been fairly successful. So as those things happen, then we get the ears and the eyes of those nationwide companies that say, hey, maybe we'll try Carson too. But that hasn't been the case in the past. So all we can do is just hope we have some support from companies like Farron and Darren that keep on pushing and saying, hey, Carson is it's an up and coming place to be. So you get in on the ground floor if you can.
The city government running surpluses, 1,200 new units coming in, and then more once the COT site gets finally going. I mean,
right.
There's a lot of reasons for retailers and grocers and others to be interested. And 20 minutes to the beach in two directions. I mean, what more could you want? Anyway, so thank you though, Ray, for that. Yeah, we're excited. So I'll talk to you about another couple of projects. I'm going to stop my share. Maybe hold on a second. I'm going to stop my share, but let's we can do a quick Google Earth thing here. So I wanted to talk to you about Imperial Avalon and the Cam Carson landfill. So just the latest on I'm not going to mess with the aerials. You guys know that your town better than I do. The Cam Carson project, well, the 157 acres of the district and the district specific plan area includes 96 acres that we control, then another piece of residential, and then of course the well-known Cell 2, which is continues to be targeted for the outlet malls development. And last I heard, that is still proceeding. The city seems to be comfortable with the latest terms and is moving forward. We are full blast for our portion of the site, which includes some logistics buildings, but in addition to 12 acres of public park ringed by restaurants. And maybe in the new year, I will be able to bring back some visuals on the latest. In fact, if you guys want, I can do that for sure. We'll put it on the calendar. Bring you back some visuals of the Carson Country Mart. So we are full blast in plan check. Environmental remediation. We're closing in on final approvals from DTSC. Obviously, DTSC, Department of Toxic Substance Control, holds the keys to every landfill in the state. So we have had to work closely with them. We learned from other previous efforts that have failed to redevelop the property to remediate the landfill. And we're about 80% through plan check. And that includes not only the buildings, but it includes the environmental remediation as well. So that's exciting. We anticipate getting started in this coming year, first half of this coming year, with the basics for the groundwork, the piles that will have to be installed to allow for the construction of the future buildings. And then watching closely as the outlet mall hopefully comes to fruition. Their piles are already, I think, 90% installed. They could get going. They could get going quickly. We're sorting through now who is actually going to build out the road that bisects the site, obviously key access for everyone involved there. So it's been a long and arduous process, but we've got the final map recorded with the county. That is it will allow us to transact and actually finish the deal with the Carson Reclamation Authority under the city's aegis. And we're excited about what's going to happen this coming year at that property. I think everyone is. I mean, it's been the big vacant lot off the 405 for 50 years, and we're finally going to be doing something exciting there. And then just quickly, we are redeveloping the mobile home park called Imperial Avalon right off the 405, more north on Avalon. I can't really talk much about it because there are some it's 80% empty. There are some folks who are still holdouts, we'll call them. I'll just call it what it is, and creating some challenges, but it's just working through the process right now. So we anticipate being able to begin removing the final coaches first quarter of 2024, and that project is also in plan check. One of the real improvements that this city council and this mayor have overseen is finally extricating themselves from county plan check regime for building permits and plan check and everything else. They brought in TransTech. There was a Kumbaya council meeting last week. TransTech is well loved, doing a great job. We're having a great experience with them. Still costs a lot of money. There's no question, but that's to be expected, just part of the process. But the good news, we'd rather spend money and have it in city of Carson's coffers than LA County's. And so we're happy about that. They're doing a wonderful job. They're turning around stuff quickly. They actually pick up the phone when you call. I mean, you would think that that is just standard operating procedure. But unfortunately, with government agencies like LA County, I love my county, but they're tough to work with sometimes. That's not how they operate. You're somehow doing them a favor, it seems, when you're bringing work to them. But TransTech is great. The city is moving in the right direction. The city has a major surplus, obviously, in its budget, and things are, looking great in the city, and we're just plugging away. It is a difficult and challenging time in commercial real estate. Folks who just read the headlines, the economy is actually, for many folks, in pretty good shape. Unemployment is low, wages have risen certainly over the past few years, but interest rates especially when you're looking at, you've factored into your pro forma, just light touch on getting in the weeds here, but you look at your pro forma and you've, penciled in, 3, 4, even 5%, loan interest rates for your construction loans.
Yes.
And then you double that. It changes everyone's the stomach for risk, the stomach for transactions, the stomach to build. And right now we're in one of those places where everyone's kind of waiting to see what the next 6, 9, 12, 18 months is going to look like before pulling the trigger on major developments. I'm
glad you mentioned the pro forma, because that's the way you hold money together for 29 to 30 months. And
well, it's for those who don't know, right? It's basically the financial model of how you get a complex project developed, funded. It starts obviously with the approval process, but once you're approved, there's a whole lot more to spend before you can even get a shovel in the ground. So, it's a long process. I mean, it's fun and exciting when you can see something like Union South Bay at the end of the rainbow come out of the ground and be enjoyed by the whole community. It makes it all worth it. But it's tough, and it's a tough time right now, but we're plugging away, and we will keep you posted on our progress on the other two major projects. And I think that, again, in the new year, bring you something exciting to talk about with the Carson Country Mart, which is going to be a game-changing amenity for the city. And just for those of you who don't know, it's a park space ringed by restaurants, And the outlet mall will be right across the street. Not a lot of food at the outlet mall. We're going to work in tandem with them. There will be a lot of synthesis going on between the two developments, and we're super excited about it. But it's, you know, still a couple years away. But we'll plug it away.
I want to thank you for speaking to us, giving us this update. Are there any other questions to Darren Embry, our developer and member of our chamber, to discuss his projects and future projects?
This is Lena here. Lena here. I have a quick question. Good morning, everybody. I got on late and I'm on my phone, so I'm not sure that I got everything. I heard everything. However, Darren, with
Yes,
the going back to the Union South Bay project, the retail, the type of retail that stores that you're going to have there. Do you have any idea what kinds that you're going to be you guys going to be placing there? Because the reason I'm asking this is that I would love for you guys to come to the chamber first to make sure. Oh, wait a minute, I got everything on. Everything happened to come on now. Everything comes on now. Anyway, I feel like wait a minute. Anyway, I'd like you to come to the chamber first to see if we have what you need before you go out to some other place or some other body to seek retail that will be going down there. You may have even mentioned this, but again, I was on my phone, so I'm not sure I got everything.
No,
But
not a problem. We are targeting. Well, here I can share again. I mean, I've got time if you want. I can certainly do this. So what I was sharing earlier, Lena, will go fast. These are. Can you see my screen? Okay.
Yes.
Great. So we have Phoenix Salon Suites coming into this location here along the plaza. This remains unspoken for, this part along Carson Street. The big we think game changer, the 5,000 square foot restaurant space with outdoor patio, etc. This remains unspoken for. We do have some interested folks who are touring the site, and one in particular is already at a sister property in Hawthorne, and they may be very interested. They're called Tapville Social, kind of a bar and grill enterprise. And then we have the exciting part is we have Torrance Memorial Care coming into this strip here. And then this northerly part is not spoken for yet.
Okay.
You folks are interested. And to answer maybe more directly your question, I see there's some chats here. I'll open those too. To answer your question, national, credit chains are really what we're targeting because, for obvious reasons, they're the most reliable, the known names that people get excited about. That said, we will talk, and we have talked to a couple of local restaurateurs. Couldn't quite get there with them, but we will talk to folks who have a track record, at least, one or two or three successful locations. And we're happy to tour folks and talk to folks anytime. So opening that door, I mean, it's been open. I hope it's clear. It's been open to chamber members and to chamber leadership since the beginning. We will take a meeting and make some phone calls to whoever you want to send our way.
Okay. All right. Because Amy sometimes gets calls in the office for different places, differently retail type businesses or whatever, even from other places, even out of state sometimes. So as long as, I don't know how, for instance, we just get in contact with you, or there's somebody there that you've sent information to the chamber office that in case somebody calls or something, or wants to get.
I know that Barry has, these are our guys here, Pegasus Asset Management. This doesn't have their contact info though.
Mhm.
But Barry has it, and I'm happy to, circulate it.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't want to continue. If you've already discussed this, I just wanted to make sure that our members or potential members will be able to at least have take a look at it if need be. I don't even know, sometimes some of our restaurant may even be looking to move it, that's already established here in Carson, may want to move to that location or something. But anyway, I just needed to make sure that we had that, that open door for that. Okay, all right.
Cool.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
And I
Thank
have
you.
a question from Ms. Faye Norman. I remember you wanted to speak.
Oh, I did. I was trying to let Darren know that I was in the chat. My name is Faye Norman. I'm the Senior Development Manager with Venice Family Clinic. And I see that you have memorial care, a part of this, project right now. And I want to send you a presentation that you'll know about Venice Family Clinic and what we offer to see if maybe we could work together on something in the future.
Sure, absolutely.
Yes.
And I'm posting my contact info in the chat right now so everyone can see.
Okay.
And call me anytime. Voicemail, texting is better than leaving me a voicemail, as my greeting says on my phone. So
Yeah,
call me, and I can't pick up. Just go ahead and please shoot me a text, and I will call you back.
well, Barry, now I would like to hear from you. We've all asked questions. We know where we are. We got a substantial year coming in, calendar year coming in, and we know that the chamber is going to help push this project and also the development of that nexus of Avalon Boulevard and Carson Street. So now I'd like to get your views on the 2-3 year picture of the economic status of our community in Carson.
Well, first, let's focus on something much closer, which is tomorrow night. We're having our holiday mixer at the DoubleTree from 5 to 8. And
Yes.
so we're collecting toys for the Boys and Girls Club. So here, Diana's here in support of that. And I like the heart coming up there. That was quick. You're speedy on that. And anyway, so bring a toy. But we'd appreciate it if you'd let us know that you're coming. So we can give the DoubleTree a good count.
I have a question on that. I have some gently used toys and games and things. My kids are out of the house for the most part. Is that acceptable? Could I bring, as long as they have all the parts and pieces? I mean, is that something that is welcome, or is this more has to be shrink wrapped and in the original package and that kind of thing? I don't want to, I want to level up here, right?
Yeah. Diana?
Thank you. Thank you, Darren. So I think for the gently used toys, board games, books, and any of that stuff, we can shift it to the Carson Clubhouse. Darren, we're happy to have you come and take a tour and check it out if you would like once you deliver. But for this event, we're collecting brand new toys because they will be distributed to the larger Carson community. So we want to make sure that the kids that come to the holiday toy giveaway at Victoria Park on Thursday can choose a brand new toy. But for the other donations, we're happy to look at them for either the clubhouse or all of our sites throughout City of Carson.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Very good. So, and let me add on to that my barbershop quartet will be singing for the event.
All right.
Tomorrow?
Join us.
Tomorrow?
Including a very special version of 12 Days of Christmas involving everybody.
Is that tomorrow at tomorrow's event? Barry?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, we'll be there in the earlier part. Anyway, so there's that. I just wanted to talk really about a couple things going on. First of all, the mall has folks lined up. As usual, I can't give you names, but they have folks lined up for the old Forever 21 space. That is almost entirely spoken for now, and they are just making their way through the process of documentation, and doing the TI work. So that's great news. Met with them at length yesterday, and we're also working on a program to help the mall merchants. So doing some training programs for small businesses, letting them know about the things they're not aware of, because you just can't know everything. And when you're a small business, you really have to know everything. So you can't turn it over to your HR department. You can't turn it over to loss prevention. It's all you. Anyway, so kind of like we run things at the chamber, except we have all of our members to fall back on for expertise. So I wanted to talk a little about something that Darren mentioned, which is, the spending levels and such. And this is something that that pops in the eyes of retailers when they look at the demographics for Carson and they see how much money there is in Carson. A couple of things. One is Carson tends to have larger families with much more multi-generational or aunt or uncle living with them and so on, partly because it tends to be larger homes than surrounding communities that support that. And so what that means is that you have a higher disposable income because you have the cost of housing and such doesn't change, but you have somebody else there adding their income in. So that means with that higher degree of disposable income, that's great news for restaurants. That's great news for a variety of retailers who that really makes their bread and butter. Another thing that makes Carson interesting is that we have two populations. We have our daytime population and we have our nighttime population. We talk about this a lot, but I think it's super important that people get it. So the daytime population is people like me and Diana and several of us I see here who don't live in Carson, but we spend a lot of money here. So I did a little quick calculation the other day and realized I spend about $3,000 a year on lunch in Carson every year. Yeah, so well, I guess that does matter, but I enjoy it. I like my local spots. Yeah, and for Diana says, she spends her weekends in Carson too often. Yeah, and so that's all money spent here in the community. So that's spending money in the daytime. And then you have the Carson population that lives here that works in surrounding communities and spends money here at night and on weekends. So a lot of restaurants, their lunch traffic is strong or their dinner traffic is strong. Many of our Carson restaurants report a good lunch traffic and good dinner traffic. So that makes our restaurants do better. So the Chili's here in Carson was their second biggest grand opening in company history, and it's continued to do well.
I had a question actually that came up the other day. So it's number 2 in the chain.
Its grand opening was number 2 in the chain, and I met an operator who owns several Chili's in the south of the southern area of the U.S. And he said that our region is famous for how well they do, and that one he knew about. So here, this guy, I believe he was from Georgia, Carolinas, anyway, that area, and he knew about Carson. So this is not a secret. And the guy who working for Chili's at the time opened that store. Then he said, "I'm looking for another store to bring in as fast as I can." So he's the guy who brought Buffalo Wild Wings to town. And that was done without any redevelopment money, totally private money, no subsidies involved at all. So to open that. And meeting with them all yesterday, they're very bullish on their future and where things are going. So I always say there's only 2 people who are happy when they can't find parking at the mall. One is the chamber president, and the other one is the mall manager. Because you look out there, there's no parking, we go, yes, right? So
Right, no
anyway, or the best is there should be one parking space, just one parking space left. Then you got it just right. But anyway, and I have definitely noticed that it has been more crowded at the mall lately. So very interesting times. Anyway, so that's something else I wanted to comment on. And as far as projects going on, there's always a lot of that. So I don't know if there's anything further I can add other than what the city's got going on. One other thing, the city is hiring a new business development manager, which is my old job. And I retired in 2016. So somebody sent me the flyer on that, said, "Hey, would you be interested in applying for this?" I got, been there, done that, got the t-shirt. So anyway, but it's a great job. You get to do work with some great people. So anyway, I have encouraged some people to apply, and they are having the interviews for that, I think, this week. So that is great. I'm glad the city's finally getting back in the game on that and really be a business-friendly city. And I think that the change in plan check has been a big plus.
Yes.
But, you know, saying you're business-friendly doesn't make you business-friendly. And the development process has been too slow. There have been too many I don't knows, and I will be blunt, there have been too many fees and exactions thrown in that are not part of the development process elsewhere. So, and that's just not helpful. And our business community has been very generous to the city in programs and such, and I know that that will continue. And that's one of the things we work at here in the chamber, is keeping our businesses involved, fully involved in the community. So all the time I send requests out to somebody, hey, there's a program going on. The Boys and Girls Club, we're doing a program. And so talk to some folks, yeah, could you support that? Unfortunately, I hit them too late in the year. But we'll hit them next year, and we know they're interested. And when companies get involved in the community, they get more attached to the community. They want to stay here. They want to be here. So that's part of our reasoning. That's my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I would like to tell the overall policy of the Carson Chamber is to collegially work with staff of the city. We collegially work with different commissions. We support the efforts of our Economic Development Commission, which is trying to push for things, which is trying to improve the community, and we support them. We are here to work with, be with the business community. Our issues are that we will, if the city wants to have a site visit, we will join them on business site visits. If the city wants to host an event, we will support that. Just like we, on our ribbon cuttings, as you know, we always have city people involved. We invite them to be involved with us as we open up new businesses. And we cut the ribbon on a lot of great businesses in our community. Some of our future discussions that we would like to talk to the city about is about analysis of pending development projects. Once they do get in the plan check, let us know about your projects. Let us know how you discovered those people. And we would like to understand if there's going to be a development of an infrastructure annual report of the city. We've been working with a number of public works managers, but we want to know where you're going to go, where you are now, and where you're going to be in your annual report on public works. I know it's in a number of pockets, but we want an overall report so that we can inform our business community where the city is going with the infrastructure, what they're doing with roads, what they're going to do with the water conservation and water improvement. So that's why we want to develop with the city an infrastructure annual report. So these are our future things. Are there any other questions or reports from our people on this call and at this meeting? Yes, sir.
Yeah, since we have Darren here, I just wanted to know if he would be willing or able to give us a kind of a quick overview of the Imperial Avalon, what the plans are for. I know you're talking about roughly 1,200 units, but if you just kind of break it down, let folks know how many are apartments, how many are for sale, and that kind of thing.
Sure. So there's 350. Okay, in the back, it's transitional density, which, because we are abutting a single family neighborhood to the back. Right. We're transitioning. If you start in the back and come forward, right, it starts, the single family neighborhood. Then we transition on our property to townhomes, 3-story, two and 3-story, mostly threes, story townhomes, 351 of those. And then 1186, I think, is the total. No, something like that. I can't, it's 68 or 86, but apartments then in the front, that will be along Avalon Boulevard. And then there will be a 25,000 square foot park space right along the boulevard,
Mhm.
contiguous with a restaurant space. 10,000 square feet, large restaurant space. And let's book this, and I will come prepared with visuals for you all.
Okay.
That will be fun. So I don't know. Did that answer your question?
Yes, yeah, I just wanted to, because I kind of know about what's happening, because but I just didn't know if other people knew what the plans were, and just a brief overview would suffice for right now.
Sure. Perfect. Okay.
We were privy to an overview meeting with Darren on that, but we support, and we're waiting for him to get out a plan check with heaven, and then we'll start blasting that. But we'll work that with your commission and see how we can get that out to the public. But right now, he's trying to get the last title ends and the planning issues for that facility. It's 80% empty, is my understanding at this time, and I've seen those plans. They're going to go from single family or 1 or 2, 3-story to the multiple group, and then 10,000 square foot commercial, which is going to be important on that part of Avalon Boulevard. So I want to thank you all for attending and giving your interest at what we're trying to do. Our next meeting we're planning is to welcome in and talk to the Clippers organization, because they want to report to us. If you've been out to Inglewood to see the Intuit facility structure with the parking and a bridge across Prairie Avenue, you'll see that they're really moving forward, and they expect the Clippers to be in their own gym and their own facility fairly soon next year. So that's all I report. So thank you for attending, and we look forward to our next meeting where we're going to talk to the Clippers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
And
everybody.